So I like to kind of end on a word of advice. And I feel like you're the best person to ask this to because listening to your story of your second marriage and you knowing within like a few days of getting married that you may have picked a bad one. But then sticking with it, staying in it and working towards trying to make it work. What would be your advice for a woman who's married, children? How do you make it day to day? Mentally, emotionally? What are some of the things you had to do in order to, move through until you were able to get out?
I think I guess the learning the skills of like the gray rock, like not getting pulled into confrontations or whatever, kind of learning to be the more neutral and through, like when they would start drama or whatever. I guess personally, like mentally, and it's a gift, I guess, that I would look for the positives, like I would look for the positives and the things to be grateful in the day instead of like focusing on the negative. And that's just something I learned in my childhood too, because I don't like to be sad and upset and anxious. So like learning those self-soothing things. And when I do get anxious, one of my things is to read or to like, to escape in a book or journaling, writing out the feelings it was something that helped, get them out. So I guess learning like those healthy things that you can do will help you get through the difficult, time. Yeah. And also the journaling helped me to also going back and reading it helped me to see it.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a huge one for me because they have you
questioning yourself.
Yeah, thank you. Where you would insist that they had done that before multiple times, and they would insist that you were crazy and you've never done it. So going back and reading it and like reaffirming that you're not crazy, even if they don't believe you, but just knowing within yourself. And then when you see the consistency of it over and over and over and over again throughout the journaling, that was a huge one that I used. And when I say journaling, I don't know how you did it, but I would literally just do a page. It would just be a page, and I would highlight the arguments. That was my opinion. And that made it so that I did it for that purpose though. I would put the date and then I would put the 1, 2, 10 arguments, whatever happened. That way when I went back, all I saw was the negatives. And that really helped me stand strong because when you're being love bombed, sometimes you're like, oh, actually everything's fine. Yeah, everything's good. I don't even know why I'm freaking out like this. Everything's perfect. And then they have you in this roller coaster. So when the love bombing started to happen is when I would read my journal. So like when things were good is actually when I would read my journal in order to keep me refocused on saving. Because that's how they get you away from trying to escape is by love bombing. So you're like, oh, everything's fine. So you like stop saving, you start spending again. And I started seeing this consistency where I would give up my dream of leaving, start spending normal, and then I'd be right back down in the ditch again. And I'd be right back where my money was. So I had to figure out, you're almost like tricking yourself. You almost have to like know what's going on deep down and like figure out a way to keep you focused or to trick yourself back into
Well, that's the educating part. Like, so in the end, that's what I did too, was write down the just the negative stories as reaffirmation of what of the truth. But seeing that and the narcissism and realizing the roller coaster thing and the cycle, like educating yourself on the cycle, it makes you immune to the cycle, to their tricks. When you see it as these are all their tricks, you know, this is how they operate. This is, you know, the love bombing is the love bombing. It's a manipulation. When you see the manipulation, you can't unsee it.
Yeah.
So the educating yourself is so key. Like the more you learn their techniques and the more you see it changes. It also, it helps me to disconnect because there is that love connection and it's really hard for you to accept this person thinks different. They don't love you. They don't know, but they don't love anybody. They don't know how to love. That's missing. And it's so hard as a person who believes in love and who loves with all her heart and has empathy and all of that to realize they don't have it. It was a huge thing to accept.
Yep.
But once you accept it and you realize that everything that they're doing is to undermine you and manipulate and to keep you where they want you and control and stuff, then you can stick to your guns and you have to put yourself first. It's you against them. You're saving yourself from something, but you have to accept that truth before you can actually do it. Make the steps to protect yourself and resist their techniques.
That's what it is. Yeah. That's what
it's worked for them. It's worked for them with you. The one thing that he did not believe for an instant that I would go anywhere. He was completely, and that worked to my advantage because he did not believe for an instant. He didn't think I could make money to support myself. He didn't think I would get up early for that job. He laughed at the first job. That's probably why he didn't say, no, you can't do it. Because he's like, this is going to last, a week. And because she's not a morning person. She hates getting up at 5. And I just continuously proved him wrong. And I think it kind of kept him off balance.
Got it. I love that. I love your story so much. Thank you so much for coming on here and taking the time to share it. Is there anything else you want to add?
I don't think so. I just listen to your gut. If you're like in a relationship and you just have your gut is telling you something feels off, something's not right, and don't listen to the words, look at the actions. That I think the girl yesterday said that, just don't, the words and the actions don't match when it comes to them. And so once you see that also really helps.
100%. 100%. So I am going to close up here, my friends. Thank you so much for those of you that are listening now. And thank you so much for those of you that did. We really appreciate opening people's eyes and opening people's ears to narcissism and what it is and what it looks like. And, I know that I run into females consistently who are in relationships like this and don't even know they're in relationships like this. So we're just trying to spread the word, and we're trying to let individuals know that it isn't always your fault. Sometimes you are realistically with an individual who doesn't have the capacity to be able to feel and doesn't have empathy. So thank you so much for joining us here on Her Version. We'll be back again soon, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.